name is Ashlie Regel.
And I'm Hannah Norgaard.
This is our ESCI 310 Transdisciplinary Scientific Philosophy video. The syllabus for this class tells us that the course, quote, does not seek to show you what to do, but rather provoke a longer-term pedagogical and ethical commitments, end quote, in relation to science and the career path we have chosen.
At first, we both questioned this statement. Why are we taking a class that is not going to necessarily teach us how to teach science? But this class has showed us exactly how this can be done. It has taken us on an exploration and dissection of our beliefs and opinions that we are now going to share.
Hannah, what do you think science is?
To me, science is thinking about the ways that animals and plants grow. I have been taught that animals and plants are independent on each other and have to live in certain places and eat certain things to be able to exist. When thinking about science, the cycles that exist on our earth come to my mind, whether it be the cycle of life, growth, rocks, water, or seasons. The idea of a cyclical process has always existed. Even though it is a cycle, it has also been viewed as a step-by-step process. One thing happens, then the next, and then another. To me, science is also topics such as weather, motion, or properties of things that exist in our world and are a part of our everyday life. Science is also general strands like biology, chemistry, and physics, which give sense and logic to many of the topics that I listed above.
Many of the topics that Hannah talked about is also how I have viewed science. I usually think about science as one subject that is varying strands. From this, I could say that we both have a viewpoint that stems from a Western way of knowing. Before this class, I would approach teaching this subject in the same way. After this class, I would not say the same. Our viewpoints have started to become more transdisciplinary and significantly less compartmentalized.
Schools have always been places where we teach subjects such as math, English language arts, science, and health. Schools have become institutions that have resulted from the colonization of Canada and follow a Western way of knowing pedagogy. Because of this, each subject is independent and compartmentalized in the reading the problem of the disciplines and the discipline of problems. David Orr talks about how we strive for organized education and how this can actually be more detrimental than beneficial. By creating these boxes that only focus on one subject at a time, we are not developing critical thinkers, but rather students who only see one thing. Getting rid of the boxes in which we encompass each subject allows for collaboration and critical thinking.
David Orr sums it up perfectly by saying that, quote, it requires the acknowledgement of the possibility that learning sometimes occurs most thoroughly and vividly when diverse people possessing different kinds of knowledge pool what they know and join in a common effort to accomplish something that needs to be done, end quote, page 98. As future educators, we strongly believe that each subject in school can be connected to one another. A cross-curricular approach is beneficial as it allows students the opportunity to see topics from varying viewpoints. We agree that each subject should be collaborated on and taught in a way that students can see the connections throughout their educational journey.
One part of our philosophy is based around the fact that our subjects in schools should be transdisciplinary, and another part of it focuses around inquiry-based learning. Ashlie and I enjoyed the experiences we were given in this class that followed the inquiry process. The vermicomposting, as well as the indoor garden, provided us with the connection of how to use the inquiry process in the classroom. We began by asking questions about the topic that was posed to us, and this allowed for lots of critical thinking and collaboration. This is where it is easy to bring in the transdisciplinary part of our philosophy and ask the questions that can be related to other subjects and how the one topic has many other sides to it, not just science. After we ask the questions, we must explore and investigate.
This discovery period is where children find the answers to their questions. This could be through books or the internet, but actual experiences the children can engage with is what we believe to be the most beneficial. Allowing students to see, hear, and touch things that will help them have a deeper understanding of the topic will make the inquiry process that much more successful. Once knowledge has been acquired, it is best to share the knowledge that has been found. Doing this orally allows for children to process their thoughts and information that can then be reflected on and used to take action from the results of what we found. We can then restart the inquiry process with a whole new set of questions. We support using the inquiry process in the classroom because it can easily be transdisciplinary and allows for students to lead the way of learning.
Lori Milligan from Regina Public Schools' Outdoor Education Program came and spoke to us about the importance of getting children outside. She gave us the analogy of how outdoor education experiences can be seen as an hourglass. The top part of the hourglass, where it is wide, is where lots of questions, wondering, and plans can be made or thought about to take into the experience. In the middle, where the sand sifts through, is the smallest part of the hourglass. Lori explained that this is considered to be the outdoor experience. Even though the experience portion is important, it is the smallest part of the hourglass. She explained the experience is vital to the learning, but it is also the starting point of even more questions and discoveries, and that is why it gets wide again at the bottom. Outdoor experiences help children see outside of the classroom walls and get to have tactile experiences, which is relatable to both transdisciplinary and inquiry processes.
One of the biggest concepts that has changed our pedagogies around science is the strong incorporation of Indigenous ways of knowing. Through many discussions and experiences, such as Treaty Ed Camp, Treaty 4 Gathering, and the visits we had with elders, we are able to see how integral it is to not only incorporate Indigenous ways of knowing, but to attempt to understand and practice it in appropriate ways during the education process. According to the knowledge seeker, relationships are considered sacred from an Indigenous point of view. They, quote, learn relationships at 4 levels, beginning with the Creator, then with the spiritual universe through ceremonies, then relationships with the natural universe, including land and animals, and finally in the human world, including marriage and community relationships. End quote, page 70. Learning this, we learn how important relationships are to Indigenous peoples and how it incorporates every aspect of their life. With this knowledge, our philosophy is now more in tune to the relationships and the respect that comes from their beliefs that connect to the land, animals, plants, and humans in our world.
As we learn more about Indigenous ways of knowing, our goal is to become more responsive, inclusive, and to indigenize the way we view science. We are now beginning to understand how important it is to reflect on our relationships with each other and the earth. We are able to see science as a gift from Mother Nature because we learn about the things she gives us, and we have to give back to show our appreciation. We must teach reciprocity to our students so they understand that it is vital we give back in order to show respect as well as build a relationship with the land.
At the beginning of this video, we talked about what we think science is. Through the process of our class and the experiences it has given us, we can say our views on what science is and our philosophies of how we will teach it have changed. We both agree that science is much more than experiments and simple concepts like plants and animals. We have now realized that science can be seen as so much more and can connect to many things in our life. We both
agree our philosophies are now going to be based on transdisciplinary and inquiry learning with an indigenized way of looking at all the parts of our communities and the world.